world champions have already been named in heading, heeling, and reining at the 2006 Bayer Select World Championship Show. This week we're back in Amarillo to see American quarter horses compete with senior riders. They'll ride for barrel, cutting, and working cow horse world championships next on AQHA's Best of the West. Welcome back to Amarillo and AQHA's Best of the West coverage of the Bayer Select World Show. Hi everybody, I'm Jeff Metters, with me Pete Kyle, former AQHA professional horseman. And Pete, in this show, our second week of coverage, we're going to see a little bit of everything, speed and finesse.
Yes, we get to watch all the timed events that AQHA has to offer. We're going to watch the barrel race, the pole bending, and the team pinning, and then go into a nice variation of cattle work. That will include cutting. We'll finally crown our world champion and working cow horse. But the first half of the show, well, it's all events that are decided by the clock. First event is barrels, and we start out with the defending Bayer Select Barrel Racing World Champion, Leslie Chapman Harrison on Yoder. This is a bay mare sired by Cash Dilemma.
Yeah, Leslie's had a lot of success with this mare, and here she is trying to return to be a world champion once again. And she's had two good turns here and really getting down to that third barrel pretty fast, Jeff.
And from here, it's a matter of hustling home. A little wide on that third barrel, but tries to make up some time right there. And her time, 17.108. We'll see if that's good enough to hold up. As she makes her way out of the arena, in comes Ricky Neff on Electric Glider. This is a gelding by Thumbs Up Review. Ricky getting a run there, and in barrel racing, you know, you can start on the left, start to the right, it's up to you.
Yeah, the whole thing is just to run that cloverleaf pattern around all three barrels, and both riders have started off going to the right barrel first and then coming back over to the left. Ricky, he's having a nice run right here as well. He's going to push her time.
Got a great cut off that final barrel in the final time. Close, but not quite good enough to take the lead, 17.156. The dream still alive, though, for Joanne Nichols. Shasta Bet. This is a brown mare by Colonel Campbell. All she has to do is unseat the reigning world champion.
This is a real nice, pretty bay mare. Look how much length she has. This mare can really cover some ground. Gets around both those first two barrels and having a very nice run here. She's going to put a little pressure on them, and she made a nice turn around that third one coming back home.
Time there, 17.345. Third best at the moment in terms of time. And here comes JRS 3 Socks. Kay Roberts is the rider.
She's riding a Sorrow by Rob Redford. Made a little bit of a wide turn right there, kind of lost control of her horse just a little bit. That's going to cost her some time. And you sure can't lose any time if you're trying to win the World Championship.
And her time is 17.520, not good enough to unseat the reigning Bayer Select Barrel Racing World Champion, Leslie Chapman Harrison on Yoder. Winning time, 17.108. Electric Glider and Ricky Neff, the second out, and they're good enough to hold on to the reserve World Championship honors. And when we come back, another one of the rare timed events in AQHA competition, pole bending, and we'll see Electric Glider and Ricky Neff and that hat one more time. And they're a little nosy here at the AQHA Best of the West coverage of the Bayer Select World Show. We continue with the timed events. Time now for pole bending, and this is a little tricky. A lot of people maybe have not seen pole bending before.
Yeah, it's where they run down, and there's a total of 6 poles that they weave back and forth, and they go down, weave down through them, turn around, weave back up through them, and then run back across. So it takes a really good horse with a lot of speed, but then you have to have control with speed here, as you can see, dodging, and you do not want to hit one of those poles, as it's a 5-second penalty, which will just hurt your time drastically here at the World Show. So she's made a good, clean run here. This horse also competed in the barrel races we just saw and finishing a real strong run in the poles to start us off.
Carla Baker and Howie Money, final time there, 22.213. That gives her the lead at the moment. Doc's Dust Charger, Elton Vernon Packard Jr. from Edison, New Jersey next to go, qualifying 2 horses here for this pole bending final.
Elton's come a long ways all the way down here to compete, so let's hope that he gets a nice run.
Quite a haul from New Jersey all the way to Amarillo, Texas.
Oh, there he got one of those poles. That's going to cost him 5 seconds, all right.
Now when a pole comes down, there goes your hopes for the world title. The good news is he does have that second chance. As he hustles him home, final time with the penalty for Elton Vernon Packard, 30.154. Next up, Electric Glider and Ricky Neff. They were the reserve world champions in barrel racing, coming back now in the pole bending. Ricky has 20 years of pole bending experience.
He's from the great state of Missouri, and that's a show-me state, you know, Jeff, and so I think he's going to try and get through there, and boy, he is dodging through those poles fast.
No saddle horn on his saddle, Pete. Says it kind of helps him a little bit with his center of gravity.
I have to hang on to that saddle horn for my center of gravity, Jeff.
And Ricky hustling home, stopping the clock in a time of 21.323, and that gives him the lead at the moment. 20 years of experience, and you can see that right here, Pete, in the replay.
He did a really nice job on the poles here, really close to them and just almost running in a straight line right through them. You can't get any closer than that.
Now to Warpy, and James Campbell is the rider. This is a stallion by Skip a Sweet Star. Gonna have to turn him loose to beat that 21.323.
He did too. A very nice turn on the first pole to set him up and going through here, and he's really getting through these poles well. Oh, real wide right there at the end. That's going to cost him huge. Had such a great start going there, Jeff.
A little bit of a blowout there. Gonna try to make up for it as he heads home. Too much to overcome though. Final time 23.354. Not close to Ricky Neff, who has the lead. LT Payday and Catherine Solomon were also in the barrel racing.
Jeff, we get to see a lot of these horses compete in both timed events, the barrels and come back in the poles. And Kathy had a nice run in the barrels, was 5th. Let's see if she can't step it up and get a little higher in the poles.
Catherine's trying to get LT Payday right where she wants him, and now she's ready.
Sets him up around that first pole real nice. Taking the poles a little safe there, so that's costing her just a little time with the extra movement out. But she's staying clean through there, which is important.
Final pole, now she turns him loose coming home. A little too conservative to those poles, though, to have a chance to take the lead. Her time, 24.361. That does not put her in the top 3 at the moment. Shasta Bet next to work. Joanne Nichols is the rider. Joanne making the trip to Amarillo from Crosby, Texas.
Another competitor that also was in the barrel race, like I say, here she is back in the pole bending, and they've done real well going in both events. Oh, tough luck right there hitting that last pole.
So a 5-second penalty for her. Would have been a 21.603, turns it into a 26.603. That would have been good enough for second place without the penalty, so a costly pole coming down for Joanne. Little Miss Howie Barr and Elton Vernon Packard Jr. will round out the competition. Pole down for Elton earlier, so a chance here to make another run at that World Championship.
And you see Elton, he's going on the other side of the poles where all the other competitors ran up on the left side. He ran down this time on the right side. Again, just like in the barrel race, you can go either side as long as you go ahead and get through all of them correctly.
Elton a little more aggressive in this run.
He's had a nice run.
Leaves them all standing, and his time, 23.969. Not going to be good enough to put him in the top 2 in the battle for this World Championship. But it does earn him a 4th place finish, and that makes the trip from Edison, New Jersey worthwhile. Meanwhile, Ricky Neff gets the World Championship. A tough luck trip, just got a lot better.
Didn't expect to do that well. We had a minor traffic accident on the way down here, and we're concerned about that. My hat blew off in the water this morning and sank to the bottom of the water puddle, so I was not off to the best of starts, but my horse really worked good. He's an exceptional horse, and I was lucky. I was lucky too.
When we come back, the wild and reckless chaos that is team pinning. Don't go away. Welcome back to Amarillo, Texas, AQHA's Best of the West coverage of the Bayer Select World Show. Final timed event here, team pinning, and this is Doc Sox, ridden by Richard Coit, Mad Native, ridden by Mark Norris, and Dos Peppy Dude, ridden by Tom Roberts. And Pete, start us off with a quick explanation of what team pinning is.
Team pinning's really a fun event to watch, Jeff, because they've got to ride in the 3 team members here. As you see a herd of cattle, and they're given a number, and there's 3 numbers on 3 different cattle that are all the same, and they pick out just like that number 4 right there and push it up, and they have to cut out all 3 of those numbers, and they were fortunate on the first cut to get 2 of them at one shot, and now they bring them to the far end of the arena, and they'll come around the corner, and you'll see a small pin. They've got to get them in there, and then they'll close that off right there, and the fastest time wins.
And that was excellently executed. Time there, 41.556. Getting all 3 cows. Gets a little tricky at the pin there for him. The next team, Richard Rossell riding Scoots Little Lena, Dominic Conicelli on SR Impervious, and Uno Little Annie ridden by Joseph Albanesius. You can hear the announcer calling out the number 7. That's what they're trying to cut out of that herd.
Boy, and they lucked right out. There's the deal of luck a little bit, where you had a cow on the outside of the herd that they could just peel off, and here comes the second one, so they're getting along pretty good here. They can slip in and get that third one out real smooth, which looks like they're going to get done. They have a real good shot of having a great time.
You can see the one rider pulling back, going back to the alley. The other 2, their job to get the 3 into the pen. They have all their bases covered. What a great time, 41.260. That moves them to the lead. A great run from Roselle, Conicelli, and Albanesius. Pete, all 3 of those cows in a pretty strategic spot, and they didn't make any mistakes.
That was the luck of them right there, being able to have those cows on the outside of the herd.
Now to Leroy Huber, Ron Dunnigan, and Paul Dupac next to go. And you can hear the announcer calling out 4. That's the number on the cows that they'll be chasing.
These guys have been quite successful here in the past in the team pinning. I believe they've won it 2 out of the last 3 times.
Another near collision right there. Got to take chances in team pinning if you want to win, and a little bit of luck on their side too as they get their first 2 rather quickly.
They're pushing them up and going to try and bring them around. They could have a fast time if they'll go ahead and get them, and they are. They're getting them right in there.
And they shatter that 40-second mark, and for the 3rd time in 4 years, they're going to wind up as the team pinning world champions. 34.922 the final time.
You can see him cutting these 2 out, and he's looking back to make sure he stops that other one, and they almost have a wreck right there as they both are trying to stop that extra cow, Jeff.
It all works out in the end. Interesting group. Leroy Huber always buys an AQHA cap and gets his boots shined before he competes. Ron Dunnigan just back from heart surgery, and they leave here as the world champions. When we come back, we left you hanging and cutting. We'll finally crown that Bayer Select world champion in just a moment. Welcome back to Amarillo and AQHA's Best of the West coverage of the Bayer Select World Show. Jeff Metters along with Pete Kyle. The timed events are complete. Now we move to the other events where the cow becomes the main focus.
Yes, Jeff, we get to do some more cutting, and then we're going to also go into the working cow horse. This is fun because the cattle add another element to the equation, and the cool weather out here is going to make these cattle feel pretty frisky, and so it'll be a lot of fun to watch.
We start with the second half of the cutting. Retired bull rider Randy Majors has the lead on Pepto Bar Legacy at 2:15. Jim Babcock and Lynn Lasky in second and third place, but they have another chance. They have another horse qualified in the finals. We start with Lynn Lasky and JRS Miss San Pepe. This is a mare sired by Pepe San 2. Not a bad situation as you ride in knowing that you're at least in third place at the moment.
It's nice having that second option. We're made a big switch here from the team pinning that we just got through watching, and now where that was all fast and running in trying to cut a cow out with a number and take it down. Now they're taking their time. They don't want to disturb that herd. They want it to be very quiet and very settled behind, and cut out one cow here and then put their hand down and let their horse do the work. As you see, he's cut a cow and his horse is really locked in on it and doing a nice job here.
Team pinning is more of that get her done mentality. This is a little more stylish and a little bit more finesse.
They're going to work probably a total of about 3 cows here in a time period of 2.5 minutes. And he picked a good time to stop on that cow as it turned away from him, walked back in and cut another one again.
Yeah, 2.5 minutes sounds like a lot of time, but you know, when you're on that horse, clock management becomes a really big deal. Does it take a while before you get comfortable with managing the clock and getting what you need to get done in that 2.5 minutes?
It really does, and you have to also, your cattle that you pick and cut kind of tells you how much time that you're going to work one too. And so that's really important. If you've got a cow that's really showing your horse off well, then you'll use it and go a little longer with it, and then know you've got to get in there and get another one out.
The second cow a little more difficult.
Yeah, and so he quit it so he could get back in there and try and get a third one that maybe show his horse off a little more. As that cow ran full length of the arena there, back and forth, and he was trying to play catch up with it most of the time.
Plenty of time to work with as he eyes that third cow. Now you're in a situation, you know, the tail's up, but regardless, you got to stay with him.
Yeah, he's hooked on this cow to the end and doing a nice job. This mare is really working this cow nice. Shows that athletic ability, staying on her hind legs real well and turning real quick.
Good showing for Lynn Lasky and JRS Miss Sandpepe, 2:14. That moves them to second place at the moment, so Lasky in second and fourth place on the leaderboard. Hollywood Made Smart is a 1996 gray mare sired by I'll Be Smart. Lynn Hickey, the rider from Oklahoma City.
Lynn's going in, and you have to make a nice deep cut to start with, or at least once during the cutting. And so he's getting a nice deep cut, which means you can move a herd of cattle out there. And then he's walking out, and he's just going to cut what we call real safe and take what was left. And he's got one that just stayed right there waiting for him. Horse is really paying attention to that cow, getting down, showing a lot of nice athletic ability there.
Lynn has to think there's an opportunity here. 2:15 at the top of the leaderboard.
That was a very nice first cow to work. I'm sure he's going to want to try and cut another one just like that.
Once your horse rides across the timeline, the judging starts, and you know, you think, well, it's when you drop your hand that everything happens, but the judge is paying very close attention to this mare, how she handles the herd, and she's doing a pretty nice job.
She really is. She's a real attractive mare as well. There he's getting a good clean cut once again. Lynn's doing a very nice job of getting his cattle cut out and getting his mare shown well here. Got another good cow that's working right in front of him, so his little mare can show off her best of her ability right here.
Cow turns her way, stays with it, and the second time goes ahead and heads back to the herd for cow number 3. Probably wanted a little more out of that second cow.
Could have had a little more out of that second cow. Maybe could have worked it a little longer to try to have gotten along a little better, but he decided to try and cut a third one, and that might cost him a little bit just by trying to organize his time here.
It's another pretty deep cut for that third cow.
Having to wait a long time, a lot of times going off the clock here, and that's sure hurting him on it. Now he's finally got one out there in front of him, and it's right at the end of his run. And this cow's not helping him any. It's running back and forth there, Jeff.
So Lynn Hickey not finding the cows that he needs, winds up with a score of 210.5. And Randy Majors, the retired bull rider, still in the lead at 2:15. One more still to go. Welcome back to AQHA's Best of the West coverage of the Bayer Select World Show from Amarillo, Texas. Final exhibitor in cutting. This is Jim Babcock on a captive heart. This is a mare sired by Captain Nice. And that's a stallion that Babcock stands at his ranch just outside of Gainesville, Texas.
Yeah, he has a battery of very nice stallions that he stands at his ranch. Jim grew up in the horse business and has been a long-time competitor. And we talk about the versatility of these horses all the time. Well, we also have the versatility of our riders. As Jim competed earlier in the reining event, and and wound up third in that event, and now here he is back in the cutting, and I think he's sitting third again now in the cutting and going to try and finish out a little stronger here.
Trying to get that first cow cut out. Finally there, drops the hand, he's committed.
He's picked out a nice cow. It's got a lot of feel to it, and it's going back and forth and giving his mare a nice little workout. He's got a very attractive mare here, and you can tell how she's staying right in front of that cow, not giving it any chance of thinking about getting back to the herd.
As you mentioned, he's third right now on Chicks Achy Breaky, a horse that he won the Bayer Select Cutting Championship on in 2004. Hope's still alive with a captive heart here this year.
This is a mare he raised. It's always fun to be able to raise one of your own horses and bring them up and then get to go and show them. It's a lot of pride when you get to do that, and it's a long-term situation to get them to this point as well, Jeff.
Well, really zeroed in on the second cow, gets it cut, and getting great action from that so far.
Boy, doing a beautiful job. Look at this mare holding that cow. It's really quick, and that cow's giving it to her too, and she's staying right with it. Jim's sitting right in the middle of his horse, staying out of the way and letting her do the work. He's presented himself very, very well here. If he gets one more cow cut out, he can finish this thing up real strong.
What a great second cow. Had the degree of difficulty that you want. You know, this mare kept him right in the center of the pen. Great second cow for him, and we'll see if he can finish with a very nice, lasting impression in the minds of the judges and maybe win his second cutting world championship right here.
Did a real nice job of not cutting quite so many so he could get out there and get back to work on it, so it finished up with a strong work here for him for a good impression on the judges. Jim did a very nice job. All three of these cows are very good cows for him.
Cattle selection was spot on and a captive heart, and Jim Babcock 221 and a commanding win in the Bayer Select Cutting World Championship, leaving everybody in the dust, and that second cow was spectacular.
She really is. You can see how quick it is right here, and that cow's really moving fast and trying to get by him, and that mare locked right in.
So how does that feel?
It feels great. I love to ride, and this is all I've ever done since I've been 14 years old, but to get a chance here to come and compete with a lot of people you've grown up with, it's a lot of fun. You really enjoy it.
Jennifer Reynolds talking with Jim Babcock. Great showing for him, first and fourth in the cutting. As Pete mentioned, third in the reining. Lynn Lasky also very good, finishing third and fifth when it's all said and done. But the World Championship going to Jim Babcock and a captive heart. One more cow event to show you from the Bayer Select World Show, Working Cow Horse, when we come back. Great weather in Amarillo, Texas for the Bayer Select World Show, and now we're going to combine reining with the cow element. Working Cow Horse, Murata's Hot Tip. This is a gelding ridden by Willard Hosford, who lives in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Jeff, we're getting to see a very good variety of the cattle classes here today, where we watch the team pinning and the cutting, and now we come back to an individual event also with the cow horse. They do the combination of the reining work, and then they work a cow right after that. So it shows the athletic ability of the horse to be able to do all parts of the reining and then still be able to work and control a cow.
You know, reining is one thing. How do you decide a horse is perfect for working cow horse? Do you take a look at his reining ability? Is that the selling point, or is it the cow that the horse has? What's the biggest elements there?
A lot of it is that he's athletic enough to do both events, because it's a combination of both events score total that makes up the winning run. But you have to have a horse that has plenty of speed to go catch a cow. So if you've got a lazier horse, cow horse class may not be ideal for him, because you know at some point in time you're going to have to send him down that fence, and he's going to have to run pretty fast to turn that cow. Willard here is getting along real nice in his circles, very quiet, real relaxed, and doing a nice set of circles.
You touched on going down the fence. That's one of the maybe the most challenging elements that you'll ever find at an AQHA event. It takes a little bit of courage.
It takes a lot of courage, Jeff, to turn that cow and just go wide open right down that fence, and then all of a sudden just stop and turn back. And trust your horse to be able to turn that cow and get out of there and go back up the other direction. It makes it a fun event to watch.
Reining's pretty relaxing compared to what's still ahead for Willard and Murata's Hot Tip. lead change here, and now we'll get into the sliding stops.
He's going to come around and then run down and execute a sliding stop to where he puts his hind feet in the ground and slides and then stops. He's building right up. The faster you go, then the farther you can slide. Didn't really keep that feet in the ground there. You saw him kind of bounce out behind there. It'd have been a little nicer if he could have kept those in there and kept those hind feet in there. It would have been a lot better. Executes a turnaround to the left, real smooth and clean, and then is coming back now for another sliding stop. Let's see if he can get a better stop this time. Oh yeah, a lot better stop. That time you saw how he kept his feet in the ground, pushed through that dirt real good. Very free in his front end for a very smooth stop. Another good set of turnarounds. Now he's going to complete one more stop and back up for us.
That wraps up the reining pattern, and now he'll let his horse settle and call for the cow. And really, when you call for the cow, you can get a little bit of a read right off the bat when that cow comes out in terms of degree of difficulty.
Yes, you really try and read that cow as he comes out. If he comes running out of there, you know you better step up and get ready, because you're going to have a lot just like that right there. You see, you're going to have to go to work here. If a cow comes out and real quiet, you step right up and go to pushing on it. But these cattle, you want to stay away from them just a little bit and give them a little more room, because you get to pushing them too much, they'll go right by you. You can see he's got quite a bit of distance here, giving this cow a little room so that it gives him time to be able to, for his horse to react to it whenever it moves. There, he's going to take it right down the fence, and like I say, boy, there's a lot of speed right here.
Really has to hustle down there to get that first turn on the fence.
He's way behind it here, just kind of driving it down there. And, oh my! I think that cow watched the Grand Prix class here, because it never broke stride and right out it went.
Almost like he's part deer, right up and over the fence. That's one way to get out, and you hear the horn blow almost immediately, and he gets another cow, and well, this one doesn't seem much milder than the one that he had before.
Yeah, we hope he has a little better luck on working this one and keep it in the arena.
All the gate guys are awake now.
There, now this cow, he's moving up there to get its attention and make it respect him and move off of his horse.
And the other side of that too is his horse has already burned up quite a bit of energy just on that first cow and the reining run, and now he's got to come back and try and conquer this cow.
Yeah, these horses are like good athletes. They have been in training quite a while, and they have to be physically in good shape to be able to do this event. It's not one that you're going to just go grab your horse out of the pasture and come compete in it. So they have to be legged up and have a lot of air in their lungs to be able to do this.
You can tell he's lagging behind him there, ready to take him down the fence.
He's going to go down the fence, and he wants to turn him once each way. There, he got a nice left turn there and needs to get out real quick to get a little more control of that cow. Hopefully he'll get up there and get this one stopped. There we go. Kept him in the arena, so we're doing good. Going to try and go and get another left turn so he can get control of him, and then go out to the middle of the arena and circle this cow each direction. He's stepping up to make that right circle. Keep driving up to that head's where you'd like to go. Actually just turned him here. Now he's going to ease up into that circle position.
Well, taking quite a bit of time there. He gets the spin one direction. Just needs to complete this circle right here. And that was a workout for Murata's hot tip and Willard Hosford. They have to be exhausted. 2:14.5 in the reining, 2:05 in the cow. Their total 4:19.5. Smart smoke and token next to go. Lon Lemon, nicknamed Doc. We saw him win the heeling competition in a rope off here at the Bayer Select, showing his versatility, coming back now in the working cow horse.
Yeah, Lon really did a nice job in the heeling class, so we'll see the versatility of him here coming up and see how he does here. He's stepped right out there and running some pretty fast circles in the reining part here, which a lot of the cow horse guys really do not ask their horse for quite this much speed, just trying to save a little air for when they get to the cow. But obviously Lon knows his horse pretty well and knows he probably has plenty of gas for that cow, and trying to earn as much credit as he can in the reining part to go work the cow.
Makes the change in speed for the small, slower circle. Lead change now to the other side of the pen.
Yeah, they're running 2 large fast circles, and that's where you want to have some speed in there, and then sit down and come down to a nice, small, slow. And so you want to show the judges you have control of your horse and can complete both of those circles that way.
Lon is a small animal vet, 3rd year to compete at the Bayer Select World Show. Had himself quite a year, would love to add another world championship to his credits this year.
Gets his lead changed. Now he's going to come around, set up for the sliding stop and spins.
Been aggressive so far in this pattern. We'll see if he sticks with that now in the sliding stops. A little more conservative there.
Actually slowed down and just made a nice smooth stop, you know, didn't have as much speed there. And again, a real correct turnaround, but not a lot of degree of difficulty, not a lot of speed to it. So that's not going to be credit earning at all for him. See if he builds up and gets a little more aggressive on the next one. His horse slowed down there again, and they slow down a little bit before that stop. That tends to lose your forward momentum, so you can't get as strong a stop as you want. Lon's completing his 2.5 turns here to the right now.
These guys know their horses very well, and obviously he felt, you know, the strength for this horse was, you know, the circles and the lead changes. Safety's up just a little bit on the sliding stops and the turnarounds.
Yep, and obviously going to try and get by, having a nice work on his cow.
And as we've seen, these cows are a little bit energetic, so he's going to have his work cut out for him.
His nice gray gilt, and he's looking right there. He's ready. He said, let's go. Give us a cow. He's got a little better draw than the last rider did. It's a nice cow. It looks like he's going to be able to step up and work this one pretty well.
No time limit. You know, when you get a cow that's a little bit on the wild side, you can box them for quite a while and try to take some air out of them if that's what you choose to do.
Yeah, that's the smart thing to do, because if they've got a lot of air and you can tell it's a big fast cow like this one is, they'll get down that fence way ahead of you and make you work really hard. So you want to try and take a little air out of them, even things up a little.
I'm going to push this cow quite a bit.
That's what Lon's doing. He's trying to work it a little bit and make sure he has control of it good before he heads down the fence. He's set up now, going to take it down the wall. Oh.
Now ducks in behind the cow.
Didn't get a real smooth start. You want to have that momentum coming right out with that cow, that it's flowing right through there, so you can get down that even with that cow. It gives you a better advantage of it. But he still got up there and got it turned well. And another nice turn right there. Now he's going to jump out and try and just make it a real smooth run here and get him circled up. Very tight, nice circle right there on that cow. That's the way you want to do it. Get right up to their head, show control of that cow. Lon did a great job there on both of his circles.
Boy, drew a good cow. 203.5 in the rein work. That hurt him a little bit. Came back with a 214 in the cow work. 417.5 the total. He is a little bit behind. 2 more exhibitors yet to work in working cow horse. Back in Amarillo, Texas, the international headquarters of the American Quarter Horse Association, AQHA's Best of the West coverage of the Bayer Select World Show. We're in working cow horse and next to work, Smart Whiskey Doc, ridden by Mike Major. Mike lives in Fowler, Colorado. Right into the reined work.
This bay stallion's by Patty's Irish Whiskey, which is a really nice cutting horse. Had a lot of nice foals do well. This is a real balanced horse. I really like the way he's moving. He's loping out through there really smooth, covering a lot of ground, using his ears, very attractive, and got a lot of eye appeal about his run. He's asking for a nice set of speed in his 2 large fast circles there. Now he's going to come down for a small slow.
He touched on the eye appeal. I mean, this horse is a great mover, but that's something that really does catch the judge's eyes, doesn't it?
Yes, it's like anything. If you have something that's very attractive and then is a good mover in it, the overall appearance is a lot better to you, and you've got a positive attitude about all of the maneuvers as he's going through it. And just like this, Mike's getting a nice job done on his circles, and this horse looks very attractive, and he's looking really nice. They're going to be marketing pretty well.
His final large fast circle now.
He's riding him with Romal reins, which is a closed rein, and doing a nice job with that. Most of the cow horse competitors show with the Romal reins. That way you do not lose your reins as you go down the fence with a cow. Have a chance of them jerking it out of your hand. Nice lead change there, and going to come around for the sliding stops. I really like the way he's presented his horse so far. Nice set of circles, good lead changes. I'm very positive about his run here.
Steps on the gas a little late there.
He was a little slow building up, all right, and I think the horse was looking around just a little and was a little tentative himself. He's having a nice smooth turnaround here. Not a lot of credit on that turnaround, but sure didn't hurt himself any there. See if he'll go ahead and increase his speed a little bit and get a little better stop on this second stop. Yes, a lot nicer right there. Now executing another 2.5 turns here to the right. And has one more stop to go do and then back up.
So Mike Major and Smart Whiskey Doc putting the finishing touches on their reigning run.
That was just a nice smooth run. I'm sure they're going to have a nice positive score there. Just completely stayed out of trouble.
So no major mistakes. Gives him a chance now as he calls for his cow.
Again, now this cow is very quiet. You see Mike just stepping right up to it, going to make it work a little bit. He's not going to just stand away. He's going to step up there and make this cow do something and see how it reads to his horse. He's boxing it really well. Look at that, just like as almost as cutting. Horse is really paying attention to the cow, working across the arena real well, using its hind end.
Well, we've seen some cows on the wild side, which is dangerous, but you also want a cow that's that has, good energy too, though, and it's something that's not too quiet. Won't have to work too hard to squeeze some points out of them.
Yeah, this is a nice cow. It's got a lot of good feel. He's got to step up there and make it happen, but when he does, this cow reacts to it and is giving his horse plenty to work with. And I was going to say, if Mike should be ready to go down the fence, because he worked that cow plenty on the end. And then this cow could be a little stronger going down the fence here to give you a little higher degree of difficulty, but he got a nice turn there. As you can see, that cow kind of waited on him, lets him get up, gets a real nice turn to the right. Circling here to the right, stepping up. This cow's finally got a little speed going for him, so he's having to work hard to get up there to it.
Boy, everything from the reining run to the cow work, everything just nice and under control for Mike Major and Smart Whiskey Doc. Waiting on the horn, and there it is. And it was all about the 13s, a 213 in the reined work, a 213 in the cow work, and his total 426, and that moves him to the lead with one exhibitor remaining. So he has clinched at least the reserve world title. Wax and Shine and Eugene Williams from Brea, California, they'd love to grab the world championship, but they're going to have to get past that 426 from Mike Major. This is a Palomino sired by Shining Spark.
Here Eugene started off and just running a real smooth, correct circle. It is a nice looking Palomino horse. Eugene had a long trip out all the way from California here to compete. A lot of great cow horses are out in the West Coast, so I expect him to be able to work a cow and do a pretty nice job when he gets to that part of it, Jeff.
That is cow horse country out there. Starting to spread to the Midwest and beyond.
Yeah, the working cow horse is really picked up all over the United States, but that's the home of it, is out on the West Coast.
First lead change there as he moves to the fast, large circles on the other side of the arena.
And he's not having a lot of degree of difficulty in his set of circles here. He's just trying to stay good and smooth and clean, it looks like, and so far he's done that real well. Not earning a lot of extra credit, but again, he's not hurting himself either.
Now the transition to the slower small circle. And again, he stays just very collected, very controlled.
And there's the good change of pace that you see, and even though it's not a big change of pace, he did have that and completed that part of the maneuver for the judges correctly. Got his lead change, and now he's going to come around for those sliding stops again. Turn and go right up the middle of the arena. Wants to go ahead and start to increase a little more. He's kind of being a little hesitant about getting that speed built up there. And as you can see, without that speed, you're not going to get a good long sliding stop there. Horse turned with his head to the outside a little bit, which isn't the best thing that you want. You want him to keep it real straight and turn around there a little better.
There he steps on the gas a little bit, trying to get a better sliding stop.
Horse is very quiet and waiting on him all the way through the pattern here. Better set of turnarounds this way too.
And his final sliding stop and back up.
Just got through his pattern fairly well. He really didn't earn a lot of credit and had a few problems there, Jeff, so he's going to have to step up on his cow in order to get up there with his score a little bit. The Shining Spark horses, which is this horse's sire, they do really well on the cattle, so I'd hope he can get a good work. This cow drew another nice cow, a lot quieter than our first one that we saw, and it's going to give him a chance to be able to work it if he'll step right up to it.
Luck of the draw plays a big role here, deciding the working cow horse world champion. It's kind of like cutting. You got to find the right cow to show off your horse.
And he's just kind of boxing it real slow back and forth. Again, he hasn't heard anything there. Got to get a little read on his cow. And boy, they're headed down to the fence. Woo! Big turn right there. Now he's going to loop it back around. That was okay. That cow cut behind him, and if he'll loop it back around, he'll be just fine. Take it right back down that wall. This cow's come to life now.
Well, and has some speed too. Going to challenge Wax and Shine a little bit. And Wax and Shine answers the call. One more turn on the fence. Now takes him to the middle of the pen.
Both of his left turns on the wall there were really, really nice. And boy, he's right up there to the head of that cow in those circles. And that's hard to do. It's a lot harder to do than it looks. He's making these circles very nice. He's going to finish out real strong here.
205 in the rein work, stronger. 217 in the cow work, 422 total. That's good enough for the reserve world title. Jennifer's with the new world champion.
This horse has really had an amazing comeback.
Yes, he has. He 3 years ago, they diagnosed him as a wobbler because of a degeneration in his neck, and so he's it's just been amazing. I mean, he couldn't hardly walk or even move at all for 2 years, and then the last year he's kind of come back to where he can walk a little bit, but it's just been an amazing comeback. It really has been. Just the opportunity to get to ride him again, it's just so cool.
Well, a great story, and Smart Whiskey Doc and Mike Major, a model of consistency with the 213 in the rein work, 213 in the cow work, a world championship total of 426. Wax and Shine and Eugene Williams finishing as the reserve world champions. Congratulations to all of our world champions and exhibitors here at the Bayer Select World Show in Amarillo. For Pete Kyle, I'm Jeff Metters. So long, everyone.